Hey everyone, James Stacey here with aBlogtoWatch.com, and today we're taking a look at none other than the new Halios Tropik SS. A brand new dive watch from Halios Watches out of Vancouver. The SS stands for stainless steel. As many of you will know, this watch was also offered in a bronze case with a fixed bezel and different dial colors. The initial run of the bronze has sold out, which is pretty common to Halios's models. They often do sell out. And as of the time I'm making this video, I believe the black version of this very watch, the Tropik SS, has also sold out, but there will be a second run of black Tropiks in the coming year. So stay tuned for those if that's what you're looking for, and otherwise you might still be able to get your hands on a blue one. So this is a watch I've actually been pretty excited about for some time. What we see here is Halios's first sort of smaller watch. I've owned almost all of their watches to date, with the puck being a bit too big for my taste. This is actually in some ways the follow-up to the puck, and it goes in the opposite direction, with a 41mm stainless steel case. It's 14mm thick at the top of the domed crystal. Edge thickness is much closer to about a centimeter, maybe 11mm at the most, and you're looking at 48mm lug to lug, so great for people who prefer a smaller watch or a lower profile, or maybe if you simply have a smaller wrist and you have to wear a smaller watch as it fits better. Beyond that, you're looking at 22mm lugs and very much a dive-ready design. Being a dive watch company, Halios is not going to release a model that couldn't actually be used diving, so what you get with this, along with the sapphire crystal and the robust stainless steel case, is this nice unidirectional dive bezel. It's a ceramic insert that matches the dial quite nicely. It's black on the black model. And you get a fully loomed insert as well. So these numerals, the dots, and the pip for 12, also loomed. Good grip, nice weight, easy to use. I was easily able to use the bezel even with dry suit gloves on when I was diving here in Vancouver. 300 meters water resistance. I can attest to about 31, 32 meters in exceedingly cold water. Water that caused my hands to almost completely shut down, but the Tropik had no trouble dealing with it. Just needed an extra long strap to get over my exposure suit. Beyond that, inside you're looking at a Miyota 9015 movement, which, as I've said many times before, might as well be an ETA 2824 in many ways. Timekeeping on this watch was easily within 10 seconds a day, especially if left facing up. And really the only way that you would know quite quickly that this is a Miyota is on wrist or in your hands. Any movement and the rotor noise is actually quite exceptional. This is partly due to the Miyota having a rather loud rotor action, and the rather small and thin, more svelte case design doesn't really cushion or insulate the noise all that much. So while I've had the 9015 in other watches, and yeah, you can notice the noise in a quiet room when the watch is in your hand, I find the noise to be quite noticeable in this watch, even occasionally when wearing it. It's not something that necessarily bothers me, and certainly the 9015 has a number of benefits, mainly being cost, and they are easily serviced as well. And for those trade-offs, I'm okay with the movement that makes a bit of noise. It's really only noticeable if you're holding the watch and it rotates at a certain angle and catches the rotor. A great many Halios fans would have stood at attention just when they said they were releasing a smaller watch, something in the neighborhood of 40 to 42 millimeters. And the Tropik really does not disappoint. If you've been a fan of their designs but found the 44, 45, 47 millimeter sizing a little bit too much for your wrist or your personal taste, I think the Tropik's really going to do nicely. It's not so small that it feels old or out of date or even remotely feminine. And in fact, this wears very similarly to my older Seamaster, which is a 2254. And there will be a bracelet option. And on a bracelet, I think you're looking at just about a perfect kind of smaller diver. It's insane to think that 41 millimeters now qualifies as a smaller diver, but certainly compared to a lot of what's out in kind of the boutique brand indie online space, 41 is a bit on the smaller side, and certainly more and more brands are embracing that sizing these days. You do get a beautifully curved case with short lugs, this nice ceramic insert on the crown. Very comfortable case. It hugs the wrist nicely. I'll show you a wrist shot in a moment. And the loom on the Tropik is might be a matter of contention for some people. All of their past watches, I believe, have used Super Luminova C3. I might be wrong on one or two of the models, but I'm pretty sure. whereas this model uses the Superluminova BGW9. So that gives you that cool blue, but it's not as initially bright. It takes some time to show off its brightness. It doesn't have that torch-like appeal of a Seiko, or even something like what we would have seen from the C3 application on one of their previous models, the Laguna, which had great big markers, lots of lume, was very bright, and initially, I mean, it was distracting if you, lit it up on your wrist and then walked around or tried to read it in a movie theater. This, on the other hand, is a little bit more subtle. In very low light, things like movie theaters, or if you leave the watch on your nightstand, the BGW9 is perfect. I did, again, use it at depth on a night dive, and it's perfectly legible. The idea is it's just not as bright during the day. It's a little bit more similar to what you get from a tritium piece, where it seems to last quite a long time and seems to suit night vision. But in, a lit room where you're trying to do a lume showdown with one of your dive watch buddies, this one's not going to compete that well, as you get a mix of the smaller markers and the BGW9. After spending some time with the Tropik, I can say that this is easily my favorite Halios design to date, and I think that comes down to two main reasons. One, I adore the dial design. It's an inky, almost glossy blue with inlaid markers that are perfectly proportioned to nice big hands, and you get a date at 6, which is something I really, really like. I think that watches, the date always seems like an afterthought, thrown in at 4:30 often with the Miyota. And on the Tropik, you can tell that it was weighed in with the rest of the design. I think that if it was going to be at 4:30, I would take it without the date, but at 6, I think it's excellent. Legibility is perfect. The date wheels color matched very nicely. Very minimal dial text. And there's always some way in which either the ceramic or the sapphire itself or the dial is playing with the light. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous watch. It's really fun to wear. And it offers a little bit more detail than we maybe more commonly see with the past, more tool dive models from Halios. And the second thing that I really, really love about the Tropik is the size allows it to be exceedingly wearable. It really hugs your wrist. It sits nicely. You can wear it with just about anything. These short lugs means it works really well with a Nato or a Zulu strap, or pretty much any strap you have lying around. My recommendation is to stick to a very simple strap. I'm not a big fan of the blue sharkskin strap that's included with the watch. Luckily, I'm recording this in early January, and sometime this month, Halios will be launching a optional stainless steel bracelet. I've seen a prototype of this bracelet, and it is really nice, and it should retail for under $75, which makes it basically a no-brainer. That's less than you would pay for a really nice leather strap. And if you do get, especially the blue Tropik, but either Tropik, order yourself the bracelet too. I think it's going to be just right, and it's going to suit the kind of dressy vibe that we have with the Tropik. So being 9015 based and from Halios, you can always expect a good price point. So what we're looking at on the Tropik with the leather strap, the wooden box that it comes in, and the strap changing tool, $650 US. And some of these you're going to have to wait for. Like I said, the black has already, or the first run of the black has already sold out. I think at $650, or let's say $700 to $750 with the stainless steel bracelet, we're not going to see a lot of direct, really close competition for the Tropik. There's certainly other really strong indie brands offering 40, 41, 42 millimeter sized dive watches, but they typically offer a more toolish perspective on the watch, whereas you get this a little bit more dressy, a little bit more detailed and luxurious platform, specifically via the dial design of the Tropik, which I think sets it apart from a lot of its competition, especially at this price point. This is the sort of dial I'd expect to see from a Swiss brand, where you might be paying 3-4 times what you're paying for the Tropik. While it's a cliched term, I definitely think the Tropik punches above its weight. You get a solid movement, a nice platform, and they're going to make a bracelet available pretty soon, which is going to make it pretty hard to beat for its size and its capabilities. Very nicely made, nicely finished, and I really like the design. For a blog to watch, my name is James Stacey, and this has been my video review of the Halios Tropik SS in blue.